AI has already begun to transform every industry and every function, including the one you are in right now.
In this course, we'll share case studies on AI's transformational impact across a range of industries, spanning agriculture, retail, finance, tech, and more. These cases will inspire you to think about how you and your colleagues can leverage the power of AI to transform your own organization and, in the process, the entire industries.
Hi, I'm Anil Gupta, Michael Dingman Chair and Professor of Strategy and Globalization at the Smith School of Business, the University of Maryland at College Park.
And I'm Haiyan Wang, Managing Partner of the China-India Institute.
Join us on this journey of what's possible with AI.
This is the goal that drives Brighton Shang, founder of Aquabyte, a Silicon Valley company at the forefront of applying machine learning to the $250 billion aquaculture industry. Fish farming is an old industry. Farmers learn from experience and manage the fish largely by intuition. A typical Norwegian fish farm has between 10 to 50 pens, each with a diameter half that of a football field, holding up to 200,000 fish. Farmers must answer several key questions on an ongoing basis. How much to feed the fish? How healthy are the fish? What's the weight distribution of the fish in each pen? When to harvest each pen? Aquabyte's mission is to bring the power of data and machine learning to help farmers answer these questions more intelligently, and as a result, more profitably and sustainably. Similar to the technology in drones and autonomous cars, Aquabyte's AI relies primarily on computer vision and edge computing. Aquabyte has trained its AI models in close collaboration with marine biologists. Over time, the company keeps retraining the models to account for additional factors, such as different water conditions and particles in the water. Incorporating these attributes plays a key role in making the AI models increasingly more accurate. To use the AI, the farmer lowers an Aquabyte camera with an attached graphics processing unit into the pen. The camera takes continuous images of the salmon, analyzing them in real time, a radically different process from the farmer taking a barge to the pen and being able to see only the top 5% of the whole pen. Aquabyte's AI models analyze these images and generate three types of crucial information. First, fish welfare, including sea lice counts. That's the average number of lice per fish for different types of lice. Sea lice cause stress and physical damage to the fish. By regulation, lice counts must be reported to government authorities and kept below a certain level. Prior to using Aquabyte's technology, a farmer would go to the pen each week, catch 10 to 20 fish, and count the lice manually. This is both labor-intensive and not particularly accurate. If sea lice populations get out of control, the output from a pen can drop significantly. Globally, about 15% of salmon die before being harvested. Second, pellet detection. That is what percentage of the feed drops to the ocean floor uneaten. Without Aquabyte's technology, the farmer is basically blind to this type of data. Since feed accounts for half of the total cost of running a farm, even a 10% reduction in feed waste has a massive impact on profit margins. Plus, feed waste is a pollutant for the ocean.
The traditional approach to using herbicides has been to spray them all over the entire farm. But since weeds occupy only a very small fraction of the land on the farm, this approach is extremely wasteful and also harmful to the environment. But this is not an easy problem to solve, especially on large farms. Weeds are interspersed with crops and often look very similar to crops, even to the human eye. The world's largest agricultural machinery company, John Deere, has turned to artificial intelligence to invent a solution. Deere, founded in 1837, has pioneered the adoption of new technologies since day one. It was among the early inventors of the steel plow and later would go on to replace horses with mechanized tractors. Then, in the 1980s, Deere added GPS-assisted steering systems to its farm machines. Over the last 10 years, it has turned to machine learning to add dramatic new functionalities to the machines. The company's answer to the herbicide overuse problem is its See and Spray tractor. As the tractor moves through a farm, an array of high-resolution cameras takes images of whatever is growing underneath. An untrained human eye would have a tough time distinguishing between a crop and a weed. However, a neural network trained through 1 million images is able to classify a weed from a crop almost flawlessly. The AI then directs automated nozzles to spray herbicides on just the weeds. The end result, 80% reduction in the use of herbicides, as well as significant cost savings for the farmer. Enabling precision spraying of herbicides is just one of several ways in which Deere has embedded artificial intelligence in its machines. Another example is combine harvesters, machines that combine 4 separate harvesting operations: reaping, threshing, gathering, and winnowing into a single process. As the machine moves over a ripe grain field, it cuts the plant, extracts the grain, and ejects the stalks, leaves, and cobs from the rear of the harvester. Deere's computer vision system monitors the size and shape of grains as they are extracted to check if they are damaged, an important factor in determining the market value of the grain. If the AI detects damage to the grain, it alerts the operator to stop the harvester and make necessary adjustments. Another set of smart cameras scan the waste being ejected at the back to determine if any grain is also being ejected. Since the goal is zero waste, these cameras alert the operator when necessary. Very recently, Deere has launched a fully autonomous tractor.
Chances are you used McCormick seasoning on that dish, and that seasoning was developed by AI. McCormick is the world's largest company in the seasonings, sauces, and condiments business. Each new generation, from baby boomers to Gen X to millennials to Gen Z, seems to have a stronger preference for new and bold flavors. So clearly, this is an important and growing market. Historically, McCormick has relied solely on several hundred product developers based in labs within 14 countries. They come from varied backgrounds. Some are food scientists, nutritionists, or chefs. Others are chemists or chemical engineers. Ever since the company's founding in 1889, developing a new product has been more art than science. For any new product, the developer starts with a basic recipe, also known as a seed formula. They then tweak this formula by adding, deleting, or changing ingredients. As developers gain more experience, they tend to develop a personal list of favorite ingredients. They develop go-to solutions that they trust. While learning from experience is obviously good, it also means that developers rely primarily on their narrow expertise and could suffer from biases and tunnel vision. While this approach has worked for over 100 years, the company's leaders wondered if AI might help to do a better job. Could they develop an intelligent platform to create product formulas? One that learns and gets better with feedback? In 2019, McCormick signed a formal collaboration with IBM to explore the use of AI for new product development. The collaboration has proved highly successful, and the company now has 250 new products in the market conceived entirely by AI. McCormick started by training AI algorithms on historical data about recipes and their ingredients. The company's database included over 400,000 formulations prepared from over 14,000 ingredients, many in different languages and spread across countries. After considerable effort at standardization and centralization, the database added up to 1 billion data points. These data became the raw material to train AI algorithms on a number of attributes, such as what ingredients can substitute for one another, like lime and lemon. What ingredients complement each other? An example would be basil and oregano. Which ingredients are incompatible with what applications? For example, if the application is a dry seasoning, then the flavor recipe shouldn't include liquids. What defines success? What suggestion has the highest probability of success? In actual operation, to develop a new flavor for a particular application, the AI models still start with a seed formula. But now that formula is based on a vast database, and the AI models are able to generate several formulations with a high probability of success. These formulations might use unique ingredients, different combinations of ingredients, and/or different ratios of ingredients.
A particularly stressful and forever remembered part of raising an infant. Dr. Harvey Karp, an American pediatrician, has collaborated with designer Yves Behar and MIT's Dr. Deb Roy to develop a highly effective solution in the form of the SNU Smart Sleeper, an AI-enabled bassinet for infants less than 6 months old. Dr. Karp's company, Happiest Baby, is now a VC-backed venture. The SNU mimics the non-stop gentle rocking and rumbling sound that the baby loved in the mother's womb. It also helps soothe babies by mimicking driving in the car all night, as well as other motions. The baby, we should add their parents as well, get a quieter and longer sleep. And SNU has also been recognized by the Food and Drug Administration as a breakthrough device for reducing sudden infant death syndrome. So, how does the SNU work? The Smart Sleeper is designed to respond to the baby's sounds. Where AI comes in is to hear the baby's cries and trigger an appropriate response from the sleeper. The sleeper responds in 2 ways: different types and durations of baby lulling white noise, and different types and durations of jiggling or rocking movement. The movements mimic and range from gently rocking the baby in one's arms, to driving around in the car, to taking a fast hike with a baby in a sling, to quickly bouncing on a yoga ball, to a jiggly subway ride, or driving with a baby on a bumpy road. When the bassinet hears the baby cry, it ramps up the response as needed and ramps down slowly once the baby has stopped crying, typically within 1 minute. If the baby keeps crying for 2 to 3 minutes, SNU turns off, triggering an alert for the parents to get up and help the baby, who may be hungry, wet, or sick. If desired, the type of response can also be pre-selected by the parent from various options on Visual Discovery platform. Uses machine learning to serve up the right content to its members from more than 250 billion options. If you're not familiar with Pinterest, it works like this. Users go to Pinterest.com or its mobile app to get ideas, plan, and shop. The ideas cover a massively wide gamut: recipes, fashion, home improvement, travel, and lots more. Users navigate Pinterest via browsing through images and saving what they love via pins on virtual boards. Users can also create pins and save them on their boards. Pinterest currently has 450 million monthly active users worldwide, and the number of pins exceeds 250 billion. Given the large user base, the large and rapidly growing number of pins, and intense focus on personalization, Pinterest has developed and deployed a family of machine learning models. Let's look at 2 of the more important ones. According to Jure Leskovic, Pinterest chief scientist, the company's fundamental goal is to understand the user in minute detail and then find the right 100 pins out of the 250 billion that most closely match their needs. A subset of these 100 pins then becomes the user's home screen. Backstage, each pin is linked to other pins in a unique manner such that when the user clicks on any pin, they are taken to other pins that would be most useful to them. Pinterest needs to do this in real time for the millions of users who may be logged in simultaneously. As a result, the recommender system must be very fast, very responsive, and very scalable. Since Pinterest is a visual discovery engine, computer vision is a starting point for the software to interpret each image. But the goal is to understand not only whether the image is that of a cookie, a shirt, or a floor tile, but also its semantics. Thus, the software tries to decode whether the tiles would belong in the kitchen or the bathroom or both, and their style, such as vintage or modern. To interpret these semantics, Pinterest uses data from how people assemble pins on their virtual boards. The number of these boards exceeds 4 billion. Some users may organize an image under tiles, others under kitchen renovation, and yet others under vintage floors. Pinterest can thereby conclude that this particular image has multiple meanings. It is a floor tile, it belongs in the kitchen, and it could go well with vintage cabinets. This way, Pinterest users also become semantic labelers. By parsing how different users save different pins on their boards, the platform learns each user's interests as well as the multiple meanings of each image.
You don't want to go hungry either. Picture a sports stadium. Wouldn't it be nice to walk into a pop-up nano store and just grab and go rather than wait in a long queue? Or picture a neighborhood store. Wouldn't it be nice if it were open 24/7? Founded by Steve Gu and Ying Zhen, computer science PhDs from Duke University, AIFI is among the world's leaders in enabling autonomous retail. That is, physical stores without checkout registers. The company's name derives from the founder's mission to make AI as ubiquitous as Wi-Fi. French retailer Carrefour, Dutch retailer Albert Heijn, which opened an AIFI-enabled store inside Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport, Polish retailer Zapka, and Denver-based Choice Market are some of the companies partnering with AIFI to open checkout-free stores. In an AIFI-enabled store, you enter by using an app or swiping your credit card. You pick what you want and simply walk out. Seamless and frictionless. This is the inevitable future of physical retail. The winners will be companies that are not only digital first, but also increasingly autonomous. An AIFI-enabled store relies heavily on a slew of ceiling cameras to track each shopper what they put into the cart or put it back on the shelf if they change their mind. Computer vision systems analyze this data to keep a running tally. There are no blind spots, and real-time processing of images from multiple cameras ensures accuracy. Now, you might be thinking, what about privacy? In order to comply with privacy laws, such as Europe's GDPR, AIFI cameras do not collect facial recognition or biometric data. Instead, they track shoppers via each person's unique body structure. Even this data is erased once the shopper leaves the store. A key element of AIFI's technology is the use of synthetic data obtained from simulations to train the AI models. For each new retailer and location, AIFI builds a digital replica of the physical store. Using its simulation platform, the company is then able to train the AI model for that particular store on millions of different shoppers, different levels of shopper density, and different types of shopping behavior. These simulations enable AIFI to design the optimal configuration of cameras for the particular store, and also deploy the technology in as short as 1 week. At a macro level, AIFI's solution is modular. The hardware, such as the cameras, are industry standard. The only thing customized to each location is the configuration of the cameras and the AI system. This modularity makes the AIFI solution agnostic to countries or regions and much easier to scale to larger size stores. For shoppers, AIFI-enabled autonomous stores offer convenience and efficiency. Nano stores can be opened almost anywhere, inside apartment buildings, sports arenas.
Along with food and water, healthcare is the most essential industry in every economy. For much of human history, medical decisions were based entirely on the basis of the knowledge and experience residing in a doctor's or other caregiver's head. With the advent of big data and AI, this is changing rapidly. Doctors, nurses, testing labs, and hospitals can now benefit from the collective expertise of the entire world embedded in AI models. Take DXplain, an AI tool developed at Massachusetts General Hospital. Developed to assist family practice doctors make better clinical diagnoses, the AI tool is designed as a dialogue-based system that provides suggestions based on clinical information. On a diagnostic test with family medicine residents, the AI tool improved their accuracy from 74% to 84%. AI is also helping diagnose more complex diseases. Computer vision models can already match the accuracy of top radiologists at detecting cancer in lung MRI images. They are now starting to be developed and tested for other diseases as well. A new AI model developed by researchers at Harvard and their colleagues at Taiwan can look at images of colorectal tumor samples and accurately predict how aggressive the cancer is, what the optimal therapy might be, and how likely the patient is to survive. As another example, consider hepatitis. Liver biopsies have historically been regarded as the gold standard for diagnosing hepatitis B and C. But AI models can now provide highly accurate diagnoses without the need for liver biopsy by combining data from scans, blood markers, and genetics. AI tools are also helping design novel drugs at a much faster pace than before. On average, it takes over 10 years and billions of dollars to develop a new drug. AI is lending a helping hand in several ways. For a targeted disease, large language models, such as those behind ChatGPT, can crawl through the entire medical literature to find promising new drugs that may otherwise have remained obscure. This task would be impossible for human scientists. Machine learning also enables scientists to harness vast amounts of drug and molecular data and build complex models automatically. As a result, they can narrow down promising therapeutic options a lot faster. They can also more accurately predict how drugs might behave in the body, cutting out a lot of painstaking lab work and wasteful time. The end result is that the hard but essential work in labs and in clinical trials need only be carried out on those molecules with the best chances of success. In short, AI's advantage lies in accelerating the exploration process. Other AI models keep track of new clinical trials that are being approved and alert the doctor in case one of them may be suitable for a specific patient.
The Dial of Destiny? The legendary actor is now over 80 years old. But in the movie, you see him both as he looks today and as he looked a few decades younger. Welcome to the era of AI in movie making. Using AI for de-aging is widespread. Brad Pitt in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean, Robert Downey Jr. in Captain America: Civil War, Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill in several installments of Star Wars, and many more. So, how do they do it? In Harrison Ford's case, the engineers had the AI algorithm learn what makes Ford look the way he does by being trained on every foot of film that the studio owns. As a result of this training, the AI learned the changing patterns of linkages among pixels in images of the actor's face at various points in his life. During the actual shoot, the production team put a whole bunch of dots on Ford's face that the digital cameras would record. In the background, the AI would substitute a pattern of pixels from the desired age in Harrison Ford's life. And it's not just de-aging. AI is being used to create actors who aren't even alive, to create synthetic voices that sound very real, and even to write new scripts. The actress Carrie Fisher, who played Leia in a Star Wars series, died of cardiac arrest in 2016. But for the new movie, The Rise of Skywalker, director J.J. Abrams decided to keep her character alive. Similar to the process with Harrison Ford, they trained the AI model on Carrie Fisher's old footage. For the actual shoot of the new movie, Fisher's daughter played the live scenes. Engineers then substituted Carrie Fisher's face for her daughter's. Some of the other emerging uses of AI in movie making include automated translation, voice creation, and lip synchronization. Imagine that you are a Japanese grandfather with no English language skills watching a James Bond film starring Daniel Craig. Soon, you'd be able to watch Craig speaking fluent Japanese the way it is spoken with complete lip synchronization. As you can imagine, all of these possibilities are the result of rapid advances in deepfake technology. And with the growing availability of large language models, or LLMs, such as ChatGPT, generative AI is now starting to be used also for script creation. Using a few prompts, you can have the LLM generate entirely new scripts and create detailed characters, a practice that is rapidly becoming common for creating ads.
Only a tiny fraction of lawyers' time is spent in courtrooms. Much of law firms' work does not even involve litigation. They prepare legal documents, review contracts, conduct due diligence on regulatory filings, and so forth. Even for litigation, bulk of lawyers' time is spent in prep work rather than in front of a judge or jury. In short, over 95% of lawyers' time is spent doing legal research and reviewing and writing documents. Generative AI has started transforming all of this work. In November 2022, concurrently with OpenAI's release of ChatGPT, the OpenAI Startup Fund led a $5 million investment in Harvey, a Silicon Valley-based legal AI startup. Harvey has taken OpenAI's chatbot and trained it further on legal documents and terminology. Within just 4 months, Harvey's roster of large global clients includes Allen & Overy with about 3,000 lawyers and PwC with about 4,000 lawyers. As you might imagine, there are a number of other legal AI startups as well. So, what exactly can legal AI assistants do? Here are some of the major tasks. AI can help draft contracts, agreements, wills, and other legal documents by providing templates or generating clauses based on the client's needs and specific legal requirements. AI can quickly search through large databases of legal materials, such as case law, legislation, and academic articles, to find relevant precedents, rules, or arguments. This can speed up the research process and ensure comprehensiveness. AI can review and analyze contracts to identify potential risks, inconsistencies, or areas that may need clarification or negotiation. This can save time and help attorneys focus on more strategic aspects of contract negotiation. AI can automate the due diligence process in mergers and acquisitions, real estate transactions, or compliance matters. By reviewing and analyzing large volumes of documents to flag potential risks or liabilities, AI can make the process more accurate and efficient. AI can analyze historical data to provide insights into the outcomes of cases, the success rates of different arguments, or the track records of opposing counsel. This information can be useful for case strategy and decision-making. AI can sort, review, and analyze large volumes of electronic documents in litigation and regulatory matters, reducing the time and cost involved in the e-discovery process. For simple cases, AI chatbots can also answer legal questions, gather basic client information,
Is rapidly becoming as ancient as using typewriters to create a document. In much of the world, the reality today is credit cards or mobile payment systems, such as Apple Pay and Google Pay. As a result, paying for something has become little more than movement of data and change of numbers in various accounts. Given this near-complete digitization, banks have been among the early users of artificial intelligence. Consider the detection and prevention of fraud. AI algorithms can analyze large volumes of data across billions of transactions every day and identify unusual patterns or behavior, such as unauthorized transactions, identity theft, or credit card fraud. As a result, AI can reduce the need for manual intervention, allowing banks to respond more quickly to potential threats and minimize financial losses. AI also plays an important role in evaluating loan applications. For a bank to stay both competitive and fiscally sound, it must offer loan rates that are based on the most accurate assessment of a potential borrower's riskiness. AI can help analyze an applicant's business portfolio, financial history, expenditure patterns, and other relevant factors far more thoroughly than loan officers can. It can do a similar analysis when you or I apply for a car or a home loan. AI is also helping banks offer personalized, round-the-clock customer support. AI-powered chatbots can handle a wide range of customer queries, providing quick and efficient support to customers 24/7. They can handle account balancing inquiries, transaction history requests, and even more complex issues such as loan applications. The payoff? Happier customers and a more efficient banking operation. More recently, AI-driven robo-advisors have emerged as a popular alternative to traditional financial advisors. They can analyze market trends and execute trades at optimal times, improving the speed and accuracy of trading. The result? Automated investment advice and portfolio management services at the fraction of the cost. AI can also help banks monitor transactions and ensure compliance with anti-money laundering.
Online shopping, remote work, virtual meetings, and cloud computing, we have seen exponential growth in data usage and high demand for data centers. But here is something you may not have considered. Servers generate a lot of heat. Cooling millions of them can account for nearly a third of the power usage by data centers. And while traditional best practices, such as the use of computational fluid dynamics, hot air containment, reducing water usage, and extensive monitoring help, Google and others wondered whether machine learning could help further cool data centers and reduce energy consumption. According to Google, a data center has chillers, cooling towers, water pumps, heat exchangers, and control systems, each with its own settings and all interacting in intricate, nonlinear, and often counterintuitive ways. Throw in factors like air temperature and fan speed, and the system complexity becomes astronomical. To illustrate, just 10 pieces of equipment, each with 10 settings, would have 10 billion possible configurations, far beyond the ability of humans to understand all of the interactions. A simple change in the coal aisle temperature set point produces load variations in the cooling infrastructure, which in turn causes nonlinear changes in equipment efficiency. Ambient weather conditions and equipment controls also impact the resulting data center efficiencies. Using standard formulas for predictive modeling often produces large errors because they fail to capture such complex interdependencies. The sheer number of possible equipment combinations and their set point values makes it difficult to determine where the optimal efficiencies lie. But machine learning is ideal for solving this type of problem. As Jim Gao, a Google engineer who led the application of AI to data center cooling, noted, machines can learn from actual performance without being explicitly programmed, teaching themselves through repetition how to interpret large amounts of data. The neural network searches for patterns and interactions between features to automatically generate a best fit model. After some experimentation, Gao narrowed down his model to 19 variables, including server load, water pumps, cooling towers, chillers, dry coolers, chilled water injection pumps, outdoor wind speed, and direction, outside air humidity, and more. After training on historical data, the model started figuring out the various tweaks that could boost power usage efficiency in previously unknowable ways. Google piloted Gao's neural network model at multiple facilities and found that it could achieve 40% reduction in energy used for cooling. The neural network had come to know more about the interactions among the various pieces of equipment than even the company's engineers. During the trial period, the neural network was designed to recommend what to do, but human engineers would actually adjust the various controls. After some experience, managers concluded that the AI was every important activity would come to a grinding halt. The goal of the entire power generation, transmission, and distribution system is to provide more reliable power at lower prices. The challenge comes from the massive complexity and dynamism at every step of the giant power networks. AI technology is now becoming an important tool for solving the sector's biggest challenges. Take power generation. Renewables, such as solar and wind, are becoming important sources of power. In order to ensure reliable supply, utilities need to predict how much output they can expect from these renewable sources. AI algorithms can combine enormous amounts of meteorological data with the capacity of the solar and wind farms to predict the likely output several hours in advance. AI is also helping utilities to optimize power generation even in seemingly stable contexts. Take Norway, which relies heavily on hydro energy. Despite the abundance of water in Norway, only a small portion of it is available for electricity generation. Algorithms help utilities, such as Agder Energy, optimize the use of water. AI is also being deployed for fault prediction in equipment. IoT, or Internet of Things, sensors embedded in every piece of equipment generate a constant stream of data. Algorithms analyze this data to predict the risk of failure in advance and how any failure would cascade through the entire system. For example, geothermal power plants in Japan utilize predictive diagnostics to automatically spray chemical agents to avoid turbine shutdowns. In addition to IoT sensors, drones are also starting to play a role in monitoring electricity transmission systems. UK's national grid utilizes drones equipped with high-resolution still and infrared cameras to take images of wires and pylons. Computer vision algorithms analyze these images to predict the need for preventive maintenance ahead of potential breakdowns. The advantage of drones lies in their ability to cover vast areas and difficult terrain quickly and inexpensively. Drone imagery also plays a crucial role in faster recovery from disasters such as hurricanes. Transmission and distribution networks need to be optimized on a real-time basis. There is huge variation in customer demand minute by minute. Smart meters track these variations right down to each customer. Then, there is the growing need to charge electric cars and buses. The distribution grid must predict all of these variables on an ongoing basis. Customers don't care about the variability. All they want is a stable supply of power when they need it, where they need it, and at as low a price as possible. AI algorithms help distribution grids analyze the mass of data and ensure that the network continues to match supply and demand in an optimal manner. Summing up, the role of AI in the power sector is to help optimize an extremely complex network with ongoing variability at every node and every link. This technology is becoming a major contributor to the stability and sustainability of power supply. AI refers to software algorithms that attempt to replicate tasks that have historically required human intelligence. AI applications are now becoming embedded in almost all aspects of economic, social, and personal life, managing mutual funds, helping you find a better romantic partner, or even personalized counseling. Early efforts at developing AI focused largely on feeding highly codified knowledge to computers and then trying to have them mimic human decision-making. For example, researchers would interview doctors, try to codify their decision-making rules, and then develop expert systems embedded with the codified knowledge. This approach was not only time-consuming, but also started reaching a plateau because it became evident that human decision-making rules could be codified to only a limited extent. Over the last decade, however, computer scientists have been tackling the AI problem in a fundamentally different and far more promising way. How do toddlers learn to walk? Certainly not by first learning physics and biology. Rather, they learn via trial and error. They observe adults walking, eager to mimic. They try something and fall down. They see what works and what doesn't. Learning from this ground-level data, they try again, perhaps a bit differently. Eventually, they figure it out. accounting for an estimated 160,000 deaths in the United States in 2018. Early detection has been shown to reduce mortality by 20 to 43%. That's why medical guidelines endorse the use of low-dose CT imaging for lung cancer screening. Despite the guidelines, even in a rich economy such as the United States, the healthcare system suffers from challenges. Radiologists are prone to erroneous conclusions, and there is significant variability in the skill levels and findings across radiologists. Emerging economies suffer from additional problems. The shortage of trained radiologists far exceeds the shortage of imaging centers. In May 2019, scientists at Northwestern University and Google co-authored a paper in Nature Medicine detailing the results of tests with an artificial intelligence system trained to read low-dose CT images. The scientists also compared the accuracy of the AI system's diagnoses with those of 6 expert radiologists. This is a leading example of the application of AI to computer vision. In cases where they could look at both the recent scan and an earlier one, the AI system performed as well as the radiologists. However, if both looked at only the more recent scan, the AI system beat the radiologists. The AI system also produced fewer false positives, that is, incorrectly concluding the presence of cancer, as well as fewer false negatives, that is, incorrectly concluding its absence, thereby reducing unnecessary follow-up procedures and cases of missed tumor. Additionally, the system was able to pinpoint regions of the lung which carried a higher risk of malignancy. So, what were the sources of the AI system's advantages? First, the system was not bound by the constraints of the human eye, which can look at only 2D image slices on the screen. Instead, the system could look at the entire 3D image in one go. In fact, because the system could look at both the recent and the earlier 3D images simultaneously, it really had 4D vision with time as the fourth dimension. Second, because of its far greater computational power, the system could analyze each pixel as well as various combinations of pixels with far greater granularity than human radiologists could. Third, the system relied on deep learning, a more recent branch of AI. In deep learning, the AI is trained on a subset of cases where it is given anonymized scans and is told only whether or not later tests would reveal the presence or absence of cancer.
Essential for investors on Wall Street and other financial centers to develop a deep understanding of the opportunities and risks across the entire world, not just in the US, Europe, and Japan. How likely are lawmakers in Brazil to pass a controversial bill to overhaul the pension system? What are the odds of India's ruling party winning upcoming local elections in the biggest state? Should we bet on the Nigerian president liberalizing the agriculture sector? Trying to answer these questions by reading online English versions of each country's main newspapers could never give any investor any type of information or analysis advantage, simply because doing so merely scratches the surface of available and relevant information. So what could the savvy investor do? The answer lies in using the power of AI to browse through, digest, and synthesize millions of bits of information, not just in newspapers, but also on TV broadcasts, web pages, and social media feeds such as Twitter, much of it in local languages. Startups such as Akira in London and Sigmoidal in New York do exactly this and have found ready clients around the world. In the case of the Brazilian pension overhaul bill, Akira's AI system kept a close watch on every one of the 513 legislators. A few weeks before the bill's passage in July 2019, the AI system was able to predict the outcome almost to the letter, giving its hedge fund clients significant early mover advantage regarding movements in Brazil's currency. So, how does the AI system do this? The starting point is that computers can access far more data points, including social media feeds, simultaneously than humans ever could. Further, AI-driven translation systems are now able to translate all of these into English with almost the same degree of accuracy as that of human translators. The biggest value of AI algorithms, however, lies in making sense of what all of this information means. Some of the early work in this area began with scientists training algorithms to understand the content of first sentences and then paragraphs. For example, the AI would be given thousands of paragraphs, as well as questions such as, does John like Jane? And the right as well as wrong answers. Through a process of trial and error learning, the AI would eventually become smart enough to understand the rules of grammar and make sense of new, previously unseen paragraphs. IoT refers to a system of objects, as well as even people and animals who carry unique identifiers and can transfer data over the internet without any human-to-human or human-to-computer interaction. We can think of the IoT as an internet-based network, where the connected things are nodes of the network. A sensor embedded in an aircraft engine is an IoT node. So is an internet-connected doorbell, a camera, a smartphone, or a driverless car. Even a bird, a cow, or a whale, when tagged with an internet-connected sensor, becomes a node in the IoT network. This would be true also of any person who gets a pacemaker or a chip implanted in his or her body, which can then transfer data over the internet. IoT sensors are spreading like wildfire and have already been put to use in a wide range of applications.
The largest industries in the world, accounting for revenues exceeding $2 trillion. Given some of the industry's unique characteristics, oil and gas companies have been among the earliest and most enthusiastic adopters of IoT technology. Let's see why. First, oil, gas, and petrochemicals are commodities. Every company, no matter how large, is at the mercy of market prices. Thus, operational efficiency is the primary determinant of profit margins. Second, unlike other process industries such as steel or paper, accidents in oil and gas can be not only deadly, but extremely expensive in terms of cleanup operations and lost production. Third, many segments of the industry, for example, oil drilling and refining, can have significant and very costly environmental consequences, thereby requiring extreme preventive action. Here are some of the ways in which oil and gas companies use IoT technology to address the imperatives of operational efficiency, accident prevention, and environmental sustainability. A large oil and gas company can have over 50,000 wells and multiple pieces of equipment at each well. The failure of a single machine at a well can lead to lost production while also falling foul of regulations. Internet-connected sensors can give early warning of impending failures or immediate alerts in case of actual failures, something that would be impossible to do with in-person field inspections. Aggregated over all wells, data from sensors can also help managers learn why some wells perform better than others so that the best practices can be diffused company-wide, resulting in improved efficiency. In refining operations, IoT sensors can monitor emissions, waste, and environmental conditions on a 24/7 basis. This approach not only reduces the cost of on-site inspections, but is much more thorough. It also enables the company to be highly responsive, thereby reducing penalties in the event of a mishap. IoT sensors embedded in pipelines, trucks, tanks, and in the case of home heating oil, even customers' homes, can enable the company to manage its entire supply chain far more efficiently and with greater responsiveness to fluctuations in market demand. Industry insiders estimate that IoT implementation is already adding several $billions in economic value to the oil and gas.
Groaning under the weight of rising healthcare costs. In rich countries, these costs account for 12% of GDP, with the US as an extreme outlier at 18%. Not surprisingly, hospitals as well as individuals are becoming enthusiastic adopters of IoT technology. It helps improve quality of care without much, if any, increase in costs. Let's look at some key examples. Smartphone-like devices can now take photos of wounds and transmit them to the patient's medical file. These images help nurses assess the severity of a wound and track how it's healing over time. Smart pacemakers now come with the ability to communicate with external monitors. When a patient with such a pacemaker implanted in his or her heart visits the doctor can download information about the behavior of the heart, as well as whether or not the device has sufficient battery power. A growing number of IV machines are embedded with sensors that can be programmed to deliver the right amount of medication at the right time. In the case of pain medication, the patient could also be given a wristband which can communicate wirelessly with the IV machine. When the patient needs to reduce the pain, he or she can use the wristband to trigger the machine to deliver medication. The system is designed to prevent overdosing. Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City has installed sensors in hospital beds that let the staff know exactly when the bed has become free, is ready for reuse, and its location. This simple move has reduced wait times by several hours for half of the hospital's emergency patients. Imaging machines, such as for taking X-rays, CT scans, and MRI images, routinely come embedded with sensors. Refers to the technology behind robots, that is, machines that are programmable by a computer and which can carry out a complex series of actions automatically. Technically, the term robot can be applied to physical machines such as a drone or purely digital ones such as a voice assistant on a smartphone. In common usage, however, we associate the term robot with physical machines and the shorter term bot with purely digital ones. In this course, we will focus only on physical robots. Robots are evolving rapidly in terms of both their physical dexterity as well as intelligence. This evolution is being propelled by a combination of developments in both hardware technology as well as artificial intelligence. Robots can vary widely in terms of the degree of their autonomy. Some of the earliest robots in factories, such as an automotive assembly plant, were not capable of much, if any, autonomy. They were programmed to perform a series of tasks in a well-defined pattern. Without reprogramming, they could not deviate from this pattern. In contrast, a car running in the autopilot mode today is capable of a high degree of autonomy, at least on highways. Scientists and engineers are pushing robotics technology along a number of important dimensions. They are improving the physical dexterity of robots so they can mimic the human hand, running, jumping, climbing stairs, and so forth.
The Da Vinci system is a forerunner of how a majority of complex surgeries will be done over the coming decade or two, at least in the developed economies. With aging populations, the market size will grow faster than the population. As new entrants go after this opportunity, prices are bound to drop significantly. The Da Vinci surgical system is the world's most advanced robotic system for minimally invasive surgeries. The Da Vinci system is particularly well suited for surgeries that require a very high degree of precision, dexterity, and control. In a sense, this robotic system expands the surgeon's capabilities. There are benefits for the patient too, who undergoes only a 1 to 2 centimeter long incision, resulting in much less trauma, much faster healing, and shorter hospital stays as compared with open surgeries. These benefits come with very high upfront investment by the hospital. Each Da Vinci system costs over $2 million. There are also sizable annual maintenance fees. It also requires significant training for the surgeon in terms of how to use the system. As a result, such systems are economically viable primarily for those centers that perform a large number of surgeries each year. The system is used for a wide range of surgeries, including cardiac, urologic, gynecologic, pediatric, as well as general surgery. Estimates suggest that 3/4 of all prostate cancer surgeries in the United States currently use Da Vinci robots. Let's look at some details of how the Da Vinci system works. The most popular model, Da Vinci SI, consists of two separate but connected sections. One section is a robotic tower with 4 arms.
Within a decade after Sam Walton founded Walmart in 1962, the company started acquiring a well-deserved reputation as the most responsive and most efficient retailer in the United States. Walmart's larger and more tailored product mix, as well as lower prices, were the most direct cause behind the decimation of old stalwarts such as Sears, Montgomery Ward, and Kmart. Over the last 2 decades, however, Amazon has proved to be not just Walmart's match, but by doing away with the cost of physical stores altogether, even more efficient. After initial struggles in figuring out how to fight back, Walmart has now emerged as perhaps the most nimble traditional retailer in the world. There are 2 major parts to Walmart's strategy for competing with Amazon. After acquiring Jet.com in the US, Flipkart in India, as well as other e-tailers, it is going head-to-head against Amazon in online commerce. Equally importantly, Walmart is turning to technology to make its physical stores even more efficient. An army of robots is playing an important role in this effort. Having learned from several well-designed experiments, Walmart is now in the process of deploying thousands of robots in a large number of its over 11,000 stores. Some of these robots perform backroom operations, such as unloading trucks and scanning boxes. This is where Walmart made its early moves in bringing robots to the stores. Others are pickup towers, where consumers can pick up goods ordered online. More recently, however, robots have started roaming the aisles, scrubbing floors, or tracking shelf inventory. The robots that track shelf inventory have proved to be particularly interesting. They're made by Bossa Nova Robotics, a tech startup founded by Carnegie Mellon engineers in Pittsburgh. Their job is to roam the aisles, tracking shelf inventory and conveying that information to people in the store's backroom on a real-time basis, a significantly faster and more thorough approach than relying on human workers. Some estimates suggest that empty shelves can cost a retailer as much as 1% of revenue, a huge amount in an industry that operates on razor-thin margins. Should these robots appear humanoid? The companies answer, no. They need to look industrial. You don't want to scare people. Unlike floor scrubbers, shelf-tracking robots need to be tall enough to scan all of the shelves from top to bottom. As a result, would they prove intimidating to shoppers? Bossa Nova's solution: make the main unit short and squat, but attach a tall arm with cameras to it. How would people react to them? Bossa Nova, as well as Walmart, discovered that after initial curiosity, customers basically ignored them. What about store associates?
Blockchain technology achieved initial popularity as a mechanism to record Bitcoin transactions in a digital ledger. Since then, it has also found use in managing supply chains, banking, insurance, and other applications. The term blockchain refers to a chain of blocks. Think of them as digital records that are chronologically linked to each other cryptographically. Like the pages in a book, each block comes after a previous one. Each block contains some information. For example, a transaction between parties A and B, a medical record, or a land title. It also includes a unique encrypted identifier, a timestamp about when it was created, as well as the unique identifier of an earlier block, where some change to the earlier block, such as change in the ownership of the particular land, resulted in the creation of the current block. The entire chain is copied and stored in a decentralized, distributed, and often public network of computers. The information in an earlier block cannot be changed without changing the contents of all blocks that came after it, and a majority consensus of the computers where copies of the blockchain are stored. This makes tampering any record almost impossible.
Bitcoins, the diamond industry has become an early and enthusiastic adopter of the blockchain technology. Let's see why. The industry has been plagued by two problems. One, blood or conflict diamonds mined in war zones and sold to finance warlords and their armies. Two, synthetic diamonds passed on as natural ones. Consumers are increasingly unwilling to buy such diamonds. As a result, companies which can prove that their diamonds are free from these problems can enjoy a competitive advantage. In 2003, the United Nations General Assembly established the Kimberley Process Certification Scheme, KPCS, to increase transparency by tracking the movement of diamonds and keep conflict diamonds out of the market. The KPCS mechanism required participants to monitor shipments of rough diamonds and certify them as conflict-free. Unfortunately, the KPCS mechanism proved to be a failure. It relied on self-regulation and self-certification. According to many observers, instead of solving the problem, it degenerated into a tool for false accreditation schemes. There was no way to verify the stated provenance of any diamond. To solve the endemic problem, in May 2015, Lian Kemp, an Australian entrepreneur, pioneered Everledger, a global digital registry for diamonds powered by an IBM blockchain platform. Kemp's insight? Blockchain can create an immutable ledger to record the entire history of a particular diamond and eliminate the possibility of document forging. Over time, many of the major players in the diamond industry, including miners such as the Russian company Alrosa and Hong Kong-based retailer Chow Tai Fook, have joined the Everledger project. Chow Tai Fook also created the T-Mark line, in which the diamonds are inscribed with traceable codes so that their origin could be checked. Everledger is not the only blockchain platform in the diamond industry.
The global shipping industry has historically been plagued with a morass of complex documentation among a large number of parties, including customs and border control authorities who must know the origins, destinations, and contents of incoming and outgoing containers. These challenges, the need for trust in the records, the large number of organizations involved, and the complex documentation make blockchain an excellent technology solution. Take, for example, the shipment of flowers from a grower in Kenya to an importer in the Netherlands. The parties involved would include a freight forwarder who puts flowers from multiple growers into a container, customs and border protection authorities, multiple shipping lines, trucking companies, warehouses, and terminal operators. The chain could easily involve 30 different organizations and require 200 separate documents. The shipping industry has relied on electronic data interchange, or EDI, technology for several decades. EDI covers a good chunk, though not all, of global shipping. It suffers from some significant weaknesses. The document-based messages are exchanged linearly among companies, preventing end-to-end transparency from the producer to the end customer. Also, EDI messages are sent in batch format rather than real time. Existing processes, a combination of paper and EDI-based, have proven to be error-prone and wasteful. The morass of documentation is estimated to cost as much as 20% of the cost of physical shipment. Because of needed checks by customs and border protection authorities, goods often spend more time in ports than on the ocean. Given the lack of complete transparency, there is also significant fraud, costing shippers an estimated $600 billion a year worldwide. Determined to find a better solution, in 2014, Maersk, the world's largest container and supply vessel operator, initiated discussions with IBM to explore the potential of blockchain technology for the maritime shipping industry. Blockchain could serve as a universal ledger that would be visible simultaneously to all parties and completely tamper-proof. By serving as a single source of truth, a blockchain could give the needed assurance to shippers, customers, as well as government authorities. In 2016, Maersk and IBM initiated pilot tests of a blockchain solution with DuPont, Dow Chemical, and Tetra Pak. The solution included the use of permissioned blockchains, whereby participants would need permission to participate in a particular blockchain. This approach was important to ensure that while companies would have access to the records that pertain to their shipments, they would not have any access to information about competitors. In March 2017, Maersk and IBM announced their plan to create a global trade digitization platform for the entire shipping industry, rather than privately just for Maersk. It would be run as a separate entity and would be neutral to all parties. August 2018 saw the birth of TradeLens, the global digital platform created by the collaboration between these two companies. With over 100 major organizations, including companies as well as government agencies, already committed as partners, TradeLens has emerged as a long-sought answer to the maritime shipping industry's challenges.
The dawn of the industrial age 200 years back, it was also the world's biggest. Agriculture 1.0 was the era of manual farming. Assisted by a cow or a horse, the farmer toiled on the farm physically. Industrialization launched Agriculture 2.0 as farm machines started replacing much of the work done by human labor. We are currently in the thick of Agriculture 3.0. Biotechnology has given farmers genetically modified seeds that are resistant to certain types of pests and harsh weather conditions. AI is now ushering in Agriculture 4.0, the age of precision agriculture. The central idea behind precision agriculture is that the farm is not one homogeneous aggregate. Rather, there is a significant variation across the farm relating to soil conditions, pests, even the seed that is dropped on the soil. Thus, if one could, it is better to sense and respond to micro conditions down to the level of tiny area on the ground or a single plant. The benefits to the farmer would be more efficient use of inputs, such as water and chemicals, and higher output in terms of both crop quality and crop yield. AI technologies such as computer vision, leveraging the data from IoT devices and robotics, excel at precisely these type of sensing and responding capabilities. These technologies are now being deployed on the ground as well as in the sky. On the ground, companies such as John Deere have developed smart tractors and smart harvesters. Cameras to a tractor take pictures of everything they see underneath. AI, trained to distinguish between a crop and a weed, then directs an automated sprayer to apply herbicide on just the weeds. Smart harvesters utilize digital cameras as well. Computer vision systems analyze images of a grain, and if they are being damaged, adjust the machine settings in real time so that the grain is harvested without blemishes. These computer vision systems can be trained on millions of images to be highly accurate. Farmers are also beginning to embed IoT-studied sensors into the soil. Data from moisture sensors can be used to control remote irrigation systems more precisely. Similarly, data from sensors that can measure nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium can be used to control the application of fertilizer to only the spots that need it. In the sky, agricultural drones are being deployed to both map and survey the crops and then apply fertilizers and pesticides in a targeted manner. For mapping and surveying, the drones are fitted with GPS systems and digital cameras, which can be programmed to stay within the farm's boundaries, follow certain paths, and take images in a specified manner. Using computer vision, these images can be analyzed to learn the condition of the crops in any micro area of the farm. Armed with this knowledge, the farmer can take more intelligent actions regarding when and where to turn the irrigation system on, and using drones fitted with tanks Alphabet is a Silicon Valley company at the forefront of applying machine learning and computer vision to the $250 billion aquaculture industry. Key to the company's founding and success has been collaboration between machine learning engineers, marine biologists, and Norwegian salmon farmers. Fish farming is an old industry. Farmers learn from experience and manage the fish largely by intuition. A typical Norwegian salmon farm has between 10 to 50 pens. With a diameter half that of a football field, each pen can hold up to 200,000 fish. Farmers must answer several key questions on an ongoing basis. How much to feed the fish? How healthy are the fish? What's the weight distribution of the fish in each pen? When to harvest each pen? Alphabet's mission is to bring the power of data and machine learning to help farmers answer them more intelligently, and as a result, more profitably and sustainably. Similar to the technology in drones and autonomous cars, Alphabet's AI relies primarily on computer vision and edge computing. Using CNN, that is convolutional neural networks, an algorithm particularly suited to computer vision, Alphabet trained its AI models in close collaboration with marine biologists. Over time, the company keeps retraining the AI models to account for additional factors, such as different water conditions and particles in the water. Incorporating these attributes plays a key role in making AI models increasingly more accurate. To use the AI, the farmer lowers an Alphabet camera with an attached GPU into the center of the pen. The camera takes continuous images of the salmon, analyzing them in real time, a radically different process from the farmer taking a barge to the pen and being able to see only the top 5% of the whole pen. Alphabet's AI models analyze these images and generate several types of crucial information. 1. Fish biomass, that is, the distribution of fish in each pen by weight and volume. This information helps the farmers decide when to harvest the pen and project their revenues from the fish in the pen. Analysis of such data across all pens also helps farmers plan their sales cycle for the next 12 to 18 months. 2. Sea lice counts, that is, the average number of lice per fish for different types of lice. By regulation, lice counts must be reported to government authorities and kept below a certain level. Prior to using Alphabet's machine learning technology, a farmer would go to the pen each week, catch 10 to 20 fish, and count the lice manually. This is both labor-intensive and not particularly accurate. Sea lice cause stress and physical damage to the fish. Without timely corrective action, the output from a pen can drop significantly. Globally, about 15% of salmon die before being harvested. 3. Pallet detection, that is,
A busy airport. You don't want to miss your flight. You don't want to go hungry either. Picture a sports stadium. Wouldn't it be nice to walk into a pop-up nano store and just grab and go rather than wait in a long queue? Or picture a neighborhood store. Wouldn't it be nice if it were open 24/7? Founded by Steve Gu and Ying Zhang, computer science PhDs from Duke University, iFi is the world's leader in enabling autonomous retail. The company's name derives from the founder's mission to make AI as ubiquitous as Wi-Fi. French retailer Carrefour Dutch retailer Albert Heijn, which opened an Wi-Fi-enabled store inside Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport, Polish retailer Zapka, and Denver-based Choice Market are some of the companies partnering with them to open checkout-free stores. In an Wi-Fi-enabled store, you enter by using an app or swiping your credit card. You pick what you want and simply walk out. Seamless and frictionless. Gu and Zheng view this as the inevitable future of physical retail. The winners will be companies that are not only digital first, but also increasingly autonomous. An Wi-Fi-enabled store relies heavily on a slew of ceiling cameras to track each shopper, what they put into the cart, or, if they change their mind, put back on the shelf. Computer vision systems analyze this data to keep a running tally. There are no blind spots, and real-time processing of images from multiple cameras ensures accuracy. In order to comply with privacy laws such as Europe's GDPR, Wi-Fi cameras do not collect facial recognition or biometric data. Instead, they track shoppers via each person's unique body structure. Even this data is erased once the shopper leaves the store. A key element of Wi-Fi's technology is the use of synthetic data obtained from simulations to train the AI models. For each new retailer and location, Wi-Fi builds a digital replica of the physical store. Using its simulation platform, the company is then able to train the AI model for that particular store on millions of different shoppers, different levels of shopper density, and different types of shopping behavior. These simulations enable Wi-Fi to design the optimal configuration of cameras for the particular store and also deploy the technology in as short as 1 week. At a macro level, Wi-Fi solution is modular. The hardware, such as cameras, are industry standard. The only thing customized to each location is the configuration of the cameras and the AI system. This modularity makes the Wi-Fi solution agnostic to countries or regions and much easier to scale to larger size stores. For shoppers, Wi-Fi-enabled autonomous stores offer convenience and efficiency. Nano stores can be opened almost anywhere, inside apartment buildings, sports arenas, or music festivals. Easy access, contactless Users go to Pinterest.com or its mobile app to get ideas, plan, and shop. The ideas cover a massively wide gamut: recipes, fashion, home improvement, travel, and lots more. Users navigate Pinterest via browsing through images and saving what they love via pins on virtual boards. Users can also create pins and save them on their boards. Pinterest currently has 450 million monthly active users across the world. The number of pins exceeds 250 billion. Given the large user base, the large and rapidly growing number of pins, and intense focus on personalization, Pinterest has developed and deployed a family of machine learning models. Let's look at two of the more important ones. According to Jure Leskovec, Pinterest's chief scientist, the company's fundamental goal is to understand the user in minute detail and then find the right 100 pins out of 250 billion that most closely match their needs. A subset of these 100 pins then becomes the user's home screen. Backstage, each pin is linked to other pins in a unique manner, such that when the user clicks on any pin, they are taken to other pins that would be most useful to them. Pinterest needs to do this in real time for the millions of users who may be logged in simultaneously. As a result, the recommender system must be very fast, very responsive, and very scalable. Since Pinterest is a visual discovery engine, computer vision is the starting point for the software to interpret each image. But the goal is to understand not only whether the image is that of a cookie, a shirt, or a floor, but also its semantics. Thus, the software tries to decode whether the floor tiles would belong in the kitchen or the bathroom or both, and its style, such as vintage or modern. Computer vision can see the picture of a chair and label it as such. Semantics is the meaning that goes beyond the simple label, chair. The chair can have more detail. For example, it could be a wooden chair that belongs at a kitchen table. This is far more advanced than simple image recognition. To interpret the semantics, Pinterest uses data from how people assemble pins on their virtual boards. Some users may organize an image under tiles, others under kitchen renovation, yet others under vintage floors. Pinterest can thereby conclude that this particular image has multiple meanings. It is a floor tile, it belongs in a kitchen, and it would go well with vintage cabinets. This way, Pinterest users also become $250 million people have impaired vision. Half of them never travel alone. Since they don't want to get lost or injured, most also never venture into unfamiliar routes. Even when walking on familiar routes, they walk slowly and gingerly. The net result is that they are more prone to injury as well as mental and physical health issues. The world still offers only the white cane and a guide dog as the time-honored solutions to visually impaired people. The cane offers bare minimum functionality. It cannot detect obstacles beyond the length of the cane and is of no help in unfamiliar environments. Guide dogs offer a bit more protection from injury. However, they're not easily available, are extremely expensive, and have a working life of only 6 to 8 years. Borrowing ideas from autonomous cars, Stanford researchers have developed a prototype, what they call an augmented cane, and showcased it in summer 2021. This smart cane is designed to help visually impaired people walk faster, do so with greater confidence, avoid injury, and once more advanced mapping capabilities get incorporated, feel safe exploring new routes. Made from off-the-shelf parts costing $400, the smart cane weighs only 3 pounds. As the researchers develop the prototype further, their goal is to reduce the weight and the cost while enhancing functionality. The body of the system is still the standard white cane. In terms of engineering, the cane's brain power as well as guidance capabilities come from an inertial measurement unit containing other sensors such as a GPS, accelerometers, magnetometers, and gyroscopes that, similar to those in a smartphone, monitor the user's position, speed, and direction. The GPS and mapping capabilities can even guide the user to, say, a favorite store in a shopping mall. A microcontroller, which receives data from various sensors, uses AI to interpret all data, plans navigation, and sends instructions to the Omni wheel as well as audio feedback to the user, all in real time. Researchers report that in their tests, the average visually impaired person experienced at walking alone with a normal cane walked 18% faster when using the smart cane. By the day, sensors are becoming smaller, lighter, more powerful, and less expensive. As a result, even 3 years from now, they will generate far more data than the development of its mRNA vaccine. Chinese doctors posted the genome sequence of the virus on January 11, 2020. By February 24, barely 44 days later, Moderna shipped the first batch of its vaccine to NIH to seek approval for clinical trials. By year end, clinical trials were done, and the US FDA approved the vaccine. Typical time for the development of vaccines in the past, 1 decade. Founded in 2010 in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Moderna is the world's first digital biotech company. The company's leaders often describe it as platform first, digital first, and AI first. This mindset describes well the mRNA technology as well as the company's organization. Within the human body, an mRNA molecule is produced by the cell and carries instructions to ribosomes, the body's protein factories, to start producing copies of a certain type of protein. Different instructions, different proteins. What Moderna did was to figure out how to create synthetic mRNA molecules outside the body, insert them inside a fatty substance made from lipid nanoproteins, which serve as an envelope, and send them to the body's ribosomes via an injection. The ribosomes then take the instructions and start producing the specific protein the instructions tell them to. The marvel of the mRNA technology is that if it could be perfected to work on one application, it could be made to work for countless more. You would just develop a new synthetic mRNA and use the same platform. It's like using a DVD player. When you want to watch a new movie, you just swap one DVD for another. mRNA holds the promise of completely transforming pharma, vaccines, and drugs alike. Stefan Bancel was hired early on as the young company's CEO. Trained as a software engineer, he had spent his entire career in biopharma. He would make Moderna digital from day one. The AWS cloud would become the company's digital infrastructure. All databases, research, clinical, operational, managerial, would be integrated so that data is entered only once with a high premium on accuracy. Even the instruments would be connected to each other and to the databases via IoT. The logic, clean and reliable data must always be available to train and deploy AI models on demand. Instead of relying manual processes to develop the experimental proteins, Bancel built a drug design studio where scientists and AI would work in tandem. A scientist wants to know what nucleotide sequences could create a desired protein. Why not use a reinforcement learning algorithm to simulate the millions of possible sequences and figure out the best one? Manual processes could create only 30 mRNA molecules in a month. Instead, the AI can produce 1,000.
just rented an apartment in Manhattan. Your landlord wants you to have renter's insurance. Where do you buy the needed insurance quick and easy? At Lemonade. You open the Lemonade app. AI chatbot Maya will greet you and ask where you live, plus a few questions. Maya will immediately analyze your data. In a few seconds, her analysis appears on your screen. Lemonade's interaction with customers is 100% digital, without any brokers or middlemen. The company relies on AI for everything: assessing risks, underwriting policies, offering payment terms, handling and assessing claims, and rooting out fraud. Founded in April 2015, Lemonade is perhaps the most prominent of the insurance startups founded in recent years, with digitization and AI as the core of their infrastructure. The company went public in mid-2020 and has a market value close to $3 billion. By December 2021, it had over 1 million customers, primarily in the United States. Lemonade enjoys extremely high customer satisfaction ratings and is reinsured by major reinsurers. Lemonade focuses marketing on millennials, especially those below 35. People in this segment tend to be digital natives with relatively simple insurance needs. A central plank of the company's strategy is to target first-time buyers of insurance. Lemonade interacts with customers with two AI bots, AI Jim and AI Maya. Backstage, each bot is backed up by an AI-powered decision-making layer, which analyzes data provided by the applicant, externally available data on them, and comparison data on others most similar to them. AI Maya helps customers buy policies or make changes to them. It is designed to provide immediate and personalized answers, quote insurance premium, create policies, and process payments. The bot can also work with businesses, such as landlords, who wish to include Lemonade policies in their offerings. In turn, AI Jim focuses on claims handling. Policyholders file claims via the app and describe the incident via video and pictures. AI models run anti-fraud algorithms. Banking is one of the world's largest industries. Since banks deal only in information rather than physical products, they have generally been in the vanguard of digitization. With 24/7 online banking and mobile banking, today's banking is very different from yesterday's. AI is the new technology that has started to transform banking yet again. At a macro level, AI's power comes from three distinct capabilities. First, the utilization of much more comprehensive data on each customer and the ecosystem surrounding that customer. Second, AI's power to apply much smarter analytics to this data. Third, AI's power to completely transform customer engagement. To illustrate, let's take Jim Foundry, a hypothetical business customer that sells steel and aluminum casings. The bank has near complete information on Jim's every transaction, including who it sells to and who it buys from. Using AI, this data can be captured and analyzed to better assess Jim's borrowing needs and the best risk-adjusted rate for loans to Jim. The bank can also use this ecosystem data to provide value-added services to Jim. A major challenge for Jim is to predict customer demand. Combining historical data on purchases with external data on every customer, the bank can use predictive analytics to help Jim develop better demand forecasts. Similar opportunities exist on the upstream side, where the bank can combine historical data on Jim's purchases with external data on every supplier to predict possible supply disruptions better and earlier. Fraud detection in credit and debit card transactions has long been a crucially important task for banks. Akin to Netflix's recommendation engine, banks are now starting to use AI algorithms to analyze each new transaction against the pattern of the user's previous transactions, as well as those made by comparable others. As in Netflix's case, AI algorithms can do a far better job at such predictions than earlier approaches. Even a 1% improvement in fraud detection and prevention can be economically very important. On the consumer side, AI is enabling innovations in customer engagement. Using facial recognition to access your bank account on a mobile app is already a reality. What about enabling customers to do banking via voice commands on iPhone Message, Google Message, or WhatsApp? This is already a reality in digitally advanced countries such as India. In India, banks are starting to use technology provided by vernacular.ai to enable customers to sign in and do business via verbal commands on WhatsApp. This can be a
every important activity would come to a grinding halt. The goal of the entire power generation, transmission, and distribution system is to provide more reliable power at lower prices. The challenge in doing so comes from the massive complexity and dynamism at every step of the giant power networks. Given climate concerns, increasing demand for renewable energy has become one more disruptor in this industry. AI technology is now becoming an important tool in the sector's arsenal. Take power generation. Renewables such as solar and wind are becoming important sources of power. In order to ensure reliable supply, utilities need to predict how much output they can expect from these renewable sources. AI algorithms can combine enormous amounts of meteorological data with the capacity of the solar and wind farms to predict the likely output several hours in advance. AI is also helping utilities to optimize power generation, even in seemingly stable contexts. Take Norway, which relies heavily on hydro energy. Despite the abundance of water in Norway, only a small portion of it is available for electricity generation. Algorithms help utilities, such as Agder Energy, optimize the use of water. AI is also being deployed for fault prediction in equipment. IoT sensors embedded in every piece of equipment In addition to IoT sensors, drones are also sprayed. For example, geothermal power plants in Japan utilize predictive diagnostics to automatically spray chemical agents to avoid turbine shutdowns. In addition to IoT sensors, drones are also starting to play a role in monitoring electricity transmission systems. UK's national grid utilizes drones equipped with high-resolution still and infrared cameras to take images of wires and pylons. Computer vision algorithms analyze these images to predict the need for preventive maintenance ahead of potential breakdowns. The advantage of drones lies in their ability to cover vast areas in difficult terrain quickly and inexpensively. Drone imagery also plays a crucial role in faster recovery from disasters such as hurricanes. Transmission and distribution networks need to be optimized on a real-time basis. There is huge variation in customer demand minute by minute. Smart meters track these variations right down to each customer. There is also huge variation in electricity generation from different sources, including solar and wind farms. AI algorithms help by optimizing the routing of electricity from varying supply sources to varying customer demand. On the customer side, too, changes are afoot. Rooftop solar decentralizes electricity production. Customers with rooftop solar panels can also sell unused electricity back to the grid. Then there is the growing need to charge electric cars and buses. The distribution grid must predict all of these variables on an ongoing basis. Customers don't care about the variability. All they want is stable supply of power, when they need it, where they need it, and at as low a price as possible. Online shopping, remote work, virtual meetings, and cloud computing, we have seen exponential growth in data usage and high demand for data centers. While striving to keep up with demand spikes while ensuring secure and reliable operations, companies such as Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and others also pursue every opportunity to make their data centers more energy efficient. Servers generate a lot of heat. Cooling millions of them can account for nearly a third of the power usage by data centers. The question facing Google and others is whether machine learning can help reduce energy consumption beyond traditional best practices, such as the use of computational fluid dynamics, hot air containment, water economization, and extensive monitoring. In a data center, dozens of variables affect power usage efficiency. According to Google, a data center has chillers, cooling towers, water pumps, heat exchangers, and control systems, each with its own settings and all interacting in an intricate, nonlinear, often counterintuitive way. Throw in factors like air temperature and fan speed, and the system complexity becomes astronomical. To illustrate, just 10 pieces of equipment, each with 10 settings, would have 10 billion possible configurations, far beyond the ability of humans to understand all of the interactions. A simple change in the cold aisle temperature set point produces load variations in the cooling infrastructure, which in turn causes nonlinear changes in equipment efficiency. Ambient weather conditions and equipment controls also impact the resulting data center efficiency. Using standard formulas for predictive modeling often produces large errors because they fail to capture such complex interdependencies. The sheer number of possible equipment combinations and their set point values makes it difficult to determine where the optimal efficiencies lie. Machine learning is ideal for solving this type of problem. As Jim Gao, a Google engineer who led the application of AI to data center cooling, noted, machines can learn from actual performance without being explicitly programmed, teaching themselves through repetition how to interpret large amounts of data. The neural network searches for patterns and interactions between features to automatically generate a best fit model. After some experimentation, Gao narrowed down his model to 19 variables, including server load, water pumps, cooling towers, chillers, dry coolers, chilled water injection pumps, outdoor wind speed and direction, outside air humidity, and more. After training on historical data, the model started figuring out the various tweaks that could boost power usage efficiency in previously unknowable ways. Google piloted Gao's neural network model at multiple facilities and found that it could achieve 40% reduction in energy used for cooling. The neural network had come to know more about interactions among the various pieces of equipment than even the company's engineers. Initially, AI is starting to transform every industry, from agriculture to finance to healthcare to retail.
We have shared with you case studies regarding how companies across a range of industries are deploying AI to improve customer experience, make people's lives better, become more efficient, grow faster and more profitably, and make the environment more sustainable.
We hope that these case studies have inspired you to think about how you and your colleagues can similarly leverage the power of AI to transform your own organization and, in the process, even the entire industry.
We extend our best wishes to you on this exciting journey.